With the Blue Lock Japan vs England game about to kick off, I'm sure many of us are eagerly anticipating what's about to go down. With Blue Lock's formation being shown to us in chapter 354, I'm sure many of us are eager to see what Jinpachi Ego has planned, and we can actually already make many educated guesses regarding the playstyle Ego is going for and the chemical reactions he is aiming for. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down Blue Lock Japan's starting lineup and going over why I think Ego chose these players. Now before we get into all the chemical reactions, let's do a brief overview of all the players' skills and why Ego placed them in these positions, and then from there we'll get into how they'll play and the chemical reactions that are likely going to occur. Starting from the back, of course we have Kagamaru in goal, cause who else would it be? Unless Kagamaru gets injured or gets a red cause he's moving like prime Rob Sanchez, Fukaku Gen is not seeing the pitch. Moving forward from him, we got Aiku and Ryu. Now Ryu being on the pitch makes perfect sense. England is going to be a team that relies on their physicality and are most likely going to be dangerous when it comes to set pieces like corners and free kicks, which means that Ryu's height is going to be invaluable on defense. This rings especially true when you consider that Agi may be on this lineup for the England game, and Agi is jumping insanely high, so they're going to need someone to counter him. Aiku is also known for his jumping, so he's also going to be a great asset on the defense, at least conceptually, because the performance he showcased in that France game was absolutely horrendous. Aiku's also the captain, so he's technically the leader that's meant to keep everyone in check, but let's just be honest, Isagi deserves that captain's armband way more. I'd honestly argue Ryo and Karasu have done more to deserve that armband during this U20 World Cup, but that's a discussion for another day. Speaking of Ryo, he's on right back, and this actually makes sense given the rest of the lineup. Considering the attacking slots are full and Karasu obviously shines in that central midfield area, Ryo being slotted in at the back makes sense given that he essentially can fill every role. When it comes to defending set pieces, Ryo already has shown he can copy Aiku's moves, which like I said already is going to be super important this game. Ryo being capable of playing every role means he can stay back to defend, shift into midfield in transition, or move all the way up to aid in finishing the attack, making him a danger all over the field. The only downside I can see to this is that Ryo running up and down all over the field could be taxing on his stamina and runs the risk of him not lasting the full 90 minutes. At the left back position we have Kiyora Jin, the episode Nagi merchant himself, but in this case that's probably exactly what we need. Kiyora is shown to be good at dribbling, which means that when he gets the ball he'll be able to help in transition so that Japan can get the ball upfield. His breakdancing skills are also going to be super important when it comes to dealing with a physical team like England, as we see when he plays against Baro in episode Nagi that he is capable of countering the body plays he gets hit by through using those breakdancing skills. Of course Kiyora is also great at passing, couple that with his ball retention capability and dribbling, and this makes a player who could potentially even deliver the ball into the box for a goal scoring opportunity. Having Kiyora as a wingback and not winger is most likely since Kiyora's talents lie in support and not really finishing, which is why Ego put him back here instead of on offense. His dribbling is far more effective as a tool to get out of sticky situations rather than a tool to run into them, so having him at the back just makes more sense. In the center midfield we have Karasu. Karasu is a top 3 Metavision user in the Blue Lock program, only being definitively below Isagi and fighting Iori for that number 2 spot. And in the midfield is where Karasu shines. We know Karasu can read the moves of opponents to cut out attacks and defend, and as we've seen before, especially in the France game, he can be especially dangerous on the attack. With the 2 wingbacks to support him and various attacking options available to him, Karasu in the center is being provided with limitless options to get the ball forward and create a goal. Our left middle is Iori, and for a formation like this, him being placed here makes sense. Iori's talents lie in creating chances to attack, and with his whole philosophy revolving around creating the world's best striker, putting him in a scenario surrounded by offensive options works perfectly for him, especially given who he's right next to, our boy Yoichi Isagi. For this game, Isagi is playing right middle, and Ego has most likely placed him here since Isagi is the smartest player on the field, and for a game like this, Ego needs him in a position to coordinate with everyone else. Having him behind a main striker puts him in position to work with everyone. Isagi and Iori are already a proven formula, so them being next to each other just makes sense. From there we have Karasu behind them as well as attacking options in front of Isagi. All of these are pieces Isagi can use to create an ideal situation on the field for him to score, while simultaneously enabling the other players on the field to work with him as both an offensive option and a piece of the puzzle to assist other offensive options. On the left wing we have Yukimiya. Yukimiya of course is most well known for his dribbling. By having him on the attack, it sets him up to be able to dribble past England defenses to set himself up for a goal through his gyro shot, especially now that he's unlocked Predator Eye, or even sets him up to coordinate with everyone else. We've seen that Yukimiya can dribble past the entire Manshine team previously, and if the France game is anything to go off of, a lot of Manshine players are going to make a return, so aside from Teddy Knight and potentially this Fox character that's been hinted at, we could be facing off against a bunch of Yukimiya victims. On the right we have Zantetsu. Zantetsu is obviously here for his speed. When it comes to dribbling, he mainly uses his speed to overwhelm defenders, but most talented defenders will be able to counter him, as even the Wanima brothers were capable of stopping his dribbling. Where he'll shine is by using his speed to catch up to crosses into the box that he can then use to strike with his left foot from the right side of the goal. This is Zantetsu's weapon, and in this formation he is primed to use it. Lastly, of course, we have the main man of this formation, Shido Ryusei. Shido's individual skill is insane and his ability to create impossible goals is unparalleled in the Blue Lock program. With him being the sole striker and having several pieces behind him that can create an ideal scenario for him to score, he definitely is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Shido is kind of just an anomaly, and unlike other strikers, he doesn't require much to be effective. He can just be made more effective with more ideal teammates, and this formation is exactly that. You can literally give Shido impossible passes and he will somehow find a way to make a goal out of it. He can even take loose balls and make super goals out of them, so he's the perfect choice for striker in this game, especially since he won't be working by himself this game, meaning he'll be that much more dangerous. Now to the strategies and chemical reactions I think Blue Lock can employ. Now I've essentially already gone over Aiku and Oryu. They're just gonna be defending and using their height to defend set pieces. The wingbacks and Karasu are where things start to get interesting though. Ryo can obviously be instrumental in defense as a metavision user, but he is also going to be instrumental in attack. He can move forward with Karasu as Ryo can copy the dribbling of everyone in the top 23 as well as even some of Saitoshi's moves, which means Ryo will be an integral asset in getting the ball forward. From there, the Crow and the Chameleon can then either link up with the rest of the Brainiacs in Isagi and Iori to create an advantageous position for any of the four of them to score, most likely Isagi, or even set up for Shido. Should they choose to not go that route however, Karasu and Ryo both have a hidden weapon that they share, this being Zantetsu. Both of them have intimate experience working with Zantetsu, Ryo being his teammate on Team V and Karasu being his teammate on PXG, where Karasu and Zantetsu were both part of the Shido system. This is insane because it means that they can both use Zantetsu to his fullest potential and then create a situation for him to score by baiting the opponents using Shido and Isagi, or Zantetsu can be used to set up Shido due to his prior experience working with the Zesty Demon. When it comes to transitioning up from the backline, Kiyora could also be useful in a handful of scenarios. Should they want to keep Ryo back for defense, his dribbling can help Karasu move upwards, or should Blue Lock decide to go hyper offensive, both wingbacks can move up with Karasu, and from there Karasu is free to decide which attacking option he would like to use, either crossing it in himself, using Kiyora to shift the attack left or Ryo to shift it right, while Karasu then moves into the box to help the attack later in the play. Yukimiya is someone who I see mostly playing support in everyone else's plays this match. He'll be a constant presence that can dribble past the defense, but when it comes to scoring, I just don't see it happening right now. As for Iori and Isagi, these two are going to be integral to this game. Starting with Isagi, he's the core of Blue Lock. With his intellect and view of the field, he will be able to coordinate with the other metavision users and create goals both for himself and even potentially Shido. Isagi has already expressed interest in a chemical reaction with Shido, so I think that it's definitely within the realm of possibility. It becomes increasingly likely when you factor in Hiyori. Hiyori is essentially the perfect partner for Karasu, Isagi, and Shido. For Karasu, him and Hiyori understand each other, meaning their plays will be extremely coordinated. When it comes to Isagi and Hiyori, we've seen how dangerous these two are during the NEL, and even the final goal-scoring opportunity Japan had versus France was born from these two once again. They are a match made in heaven, and having Hiyori next to Isagi makes Isagi that much more dangerous. Then we have Shido, and this is honestly what I am most excited to see. For the longest time now, I think even since before the U20 World Cup started, I've been anticipating a Shido x Hiyori chemical reaction because it just makes sense. They are literally the perfect pairing. Shido strives towards the impossible, and Hiyori's whole philosophy is creating the best striker, and he straight up says he's gonna leave behind the strikers not worthy of his passes. And Shido will always be worthy of those passes without question. Hiyori also has intellect that's been compared to Isagi's multiple times, and passing that's been compared to Saitoshi's. He's literally the perfect partner for Shido who's up top. Having Hiyori and Zantetsu, both of which can link up with Karasu that can dictate the attack pattern, makes this a situation where Shido can thrive and absolutely dominate the field. Of course subs are going to happen, but there's generally no way for me to predict those, and I wanted the focus of this video to be the brilliance of the starting lineup against England because Blue Lock has the potential to be very dangerous this upcoming game. If you made it this far into the video, I just want to say thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and a sub, it really helps the channel, and let me know how you think this game is going to play out, potential chemical reactions you see happening, and maybe even who you see scoring. Based on the starting lineup alone, I see Isagi and Shido hitting the back of the net, but I would be open to an unexpected goal like one from Zantetsu or even an RU header after a corner kick. But with that being said, I hope you all have a great rest of your day or night whenever you're watching this, and I hope to see you all next time.